Why we need to study fertilization process? We know very well when the male gamete and female gamete fuses, we are going to get zygote in a fallopian tube of a female human. The fertilization process, we told in the last class itself, it is also called as syngamy. Syngamy or fertilization denotes the male gamete and female gamete fusion, which happens in the fallopian tube with a group of hormonal influences and physiological activity. These many number of events and the influencing factors we are going to see in a systematic order. So number one, in the fertilization process, the sperm cell, how we will call with many number of technical terms, sperm is also called as male sex cell or male reproductive cell. So you call the sperm as male sex cell or male reproductive cell or gamete. This male sex cell or gamete or a male reproductive cell or sperm cell is a haploid cell. This haploid sperm cell, how we will symbolize with a special notation, there is nothing but small n. If you're saying small n, it denotes the haploid male sex cell. Okay, and if you're saying the ovum with small n, which is also denotes haploid female gamete symbol. Female haploid gamete symbol is N, which denotes ovum. Ovum is singular. For each and every word, hidden sentences are there. Ovum denotes single egg. Ova denotes multiple egg. Sperm denotes a male sex cell. Ovum denotes a female sex cell. Right? Fertilization is also called as syngamy. Like this, we narrated n number of times. Right? So here, after copulation, the sperm is released from the penis. Instead of using that word penis, technically we used to call as external genitalia. What do you mean about external genitalia or penis denotes? It is an organ which is present outside the body. That is the reason why the penis, the word, is given as a external genitalia. The penis is also called as external genitalia because it is present outside the body. The vagina is a segment of the female, denotes external genitalia. It is projected outside the body. So vagina receives the sperm cells from penis, right? So insemination means sperm which are collected by the particular female segment, which is nothing but vagina or external genitalia or a copulatory organ. In the CBSE board exam, 1 year they will be asking about the copulatory organ is also called as what in female. Okay, also called as we used to say vagina or external genitalia or copulatory organ. 3 terms are there. So when we are explaining, we are not only here to explain the slide, we will be discussing the multiple terminology which are frequently asked for many number of years. Okay, so be very careful when we are narrating the information. Kindly take the notes so that what you can have a correlation. Inseminated means what? Semen is given inside the female body. That is a hidden meaning of insemination. Sperm swims means because of what particular structure? Sperm tail. Sperm tail makes the sperm to float. No. Sperm to swim. Yes, of course. So some students are writing floating. Some students are writing swimming. Some students are writing moving. So we need to narrate swimming because of the tail structure. In the last class, I narrated the swimming apparatus. Tail is supported by mitochondria, ATP hydrolysis mediated energy. So the energy obtained because of the ATP hydrolysis is supporting the sperm tail to move. The sperm tail is moving because of the energy given by ATP hydrolysis or ATP breakdown, right? So we need to know not all the copulation needs to the fertilization. What do you mean about that? For example, if the particular male is having the intercourse with the female during the pre-ovulation time. What do you mean about pre-ovulation time? The concerned girl gone for bleeding. After that, next 8 days, if the concerned male or female is going for copulation, there is no chance for conceivement. There is no chance for the zygote formation. There is no chance for the egg fusion. What is the reason? Why? Because the egg not came to the fallopian tube. So today the bleeding has stopped. For the next 7 days, if the concerned couple is going for copulation, there is no chance for zygote formation. So post-ovulation stage, after the egg release, the egg will sustain in the female body only for 1 to 2 days. If the couple is going for copulation after the egg release, that means after the ovulation time period. At that interval also, there is no chance for the conceivement. So that is a meaning for not all copulation leads to the fertilization. So which copulation is successful? If the copulation is carried out by a particular couple during the ovulation time, then the zygote formation happens properly, right? So this is the way we need to understand. So what are all the hidden sentences are there? For each and every sentence we need to understand. So then we can manage if the questions are asked in a well-twisted version in the board exam. They won't discuss in detail about fertilization and implantation. They'll ask why it is happening so like this. Okay, in which way it happens. Okay, for example, if you're talking about the egg membrane, okay, the egg membrane, the sperm comes in contact with the egg membrane, it causes the changes in the membrane. What do you mean about egg membrane? Can you say the other name of the egg membrane? Okay, so we need to recall. In the last class, I told the egg membrane also called as zona pellucida. Egg membrane also called as zona pellucida. The moment sperm touches the zona pellucida layer, what happens exactly? The plasma membrane or egg membrane or differentiated plasma membrane is also called as zona pellucida, which will be changing to the corona radiata structure, right? So that information, what we narrated in the last class, that you need to correlate with the egg membrane, right? So the sperm passes through the uterine wall and then into the egg membrane. What do you mean about uterine wall? Inner layer of the uterus. Sir, there are so many layers are there in the uterus, but specifically the uterine wall we used to call as the uterus inner layer, also called as endometrium. We should be very, very careful. 3 terminologies are hidden behind the endometrium. Is also called as inner layer of the uterus, is one of the layer of uterine wall. Okay, so and then to the egg membrane where it get dissolved by the enzyme in the ovum's plasma membrane. What enzyme exactly? What is the concerned enzyme involved in this particular egg membrane digestion? So we know very well about the enzyme name called sperm lysin. Sperm lysin is an enzyme which is responsible for the digestion of the egg membrane. The sperm lysin released by the sperm acrosome, in the sense the acrosome is not existing in the sperm every time. We know very well the Golgi complex is structure of the sperm responsible for the formation of the acrosome. Acrosome releases the sperm lysin. This sperm lysin is digesting the egg membrane, and then the sperm will penetrate into the egg, right? So we should be very careful. Okay, here they are saying enzyme. What enzyme? Sperm lysin, the word is there in the CBSE textbook. The advanced version of the sperm lysin, a type of sperm lysin, is not there in the CBSE textbook. That we are not narrating, right? Because it is out of CBSE textbook, right? So secondary oocyte is also called as meiosis 1 product. So instead of asking the direct question, they will say meiosis one product is nothing but secondary oocyte, which is a haploid cell symbolized as single N, which is getting divided into two primary polar body. So what that polar body? Okay, if you're writing one polar body in the board exam, they will reduce quarter mark. We need to say primary polar body is formed, not bodies. Okay, singular, one primary polar body is formed along with the haploid egg, right? So here, when we are narrating the message, this haploid egg is also single N, polar body is also single N, which is worth, which is having the worth, which is having the strong credential of participating in the fertilization process means polar body is not participating, only the haploid egg is having the credential to participate. That means the polar body withers, degenerates, degrades, breaks. So that means the haploid egg alone is continuing its structure for getting interaction with the sperm cells. Once the interaction is done, the zygote will be formed. The nuclei, the word denotes the plural. The egg nuclei and the sperm nuclei, the nuclei, the word denotes plural, that fuses together to create a baby, right? So that means in the, okay, the baby is not coming immediately. Once this fusion is completed, it takes some time of about three gestational episode. What do you mean about three gestational episode? First trimester, second trimester, third trimester. Okay, here we know very well in the UK, US and all, when we are studying many different type of paramedical program, we are having a trimester system in a year instead of having the two ovule system, right? So this trimester, first 3 months, first trimester, second 3 months, second trimester, third 3 months is third trimester. In each and every trimester, what is exactly happening is the zygote is getting developed. In the sense, the organs are getting developed with the help of mother cell. Who is mother cell? The zygote is having a mother cell. Okay, that mother cell or the zygote is having the credential to make a various parts of the human body, right? So we should be careful in understanding all the hidden sentence. If you know the hidden sentence, playing the games with the hard question is very easy. High order thinking skill question or mini number in the CBSE board exam, right? Mitosis division is also called as cleavage. What do you mean about cleavage division? Where it is happening in the zygote. What do you mean about zygote? Developing embryo. What is the other name of developing embryo or zygote? Fused egg, also called as fertilized egg. So many terminology they are using. So the embryo, the word is not acceptable. Developing embryo or zygote or 2N. Okay. Developing embryo or zygote or 2N or fused egg or fertilized egg is responsible for the formation of various organs, right? This happens not in the fallopian tube. So zygote need to reach uterus through what? Through what? Through fallopian tube. From where? From which part of the fallopian tube? Isthmus junction. I'm moving from Dubai to Oman in a sense. So in which road I am traveling? How long I am traveling? For what for I am traveling? Like this, the zygote is reaching the isthmus junction means, okay, here zygote is reaching the isthmus junction or zygote is moving from the isthmus junction. Where it is moving, how long it takes to reach the uterus, and after reaching the uterus, what it does exactly. Like this, we need to bring all the hidden sentence from the first sentence. Then you are having a very good prepared information, right? Now, if we're talking about the zygote after getting implanted in the uterus, it undergoes so many number of division in the sense what? So it's called cleavage. Like this, we told to you each and every cells which are formed in the case of the divided zygote narrates blastomere. So these blastomeres are getting organized into 3 or 4 or 5 layers. Each and every layers are having n number of blastomeres, which is going to act as a mother cell. The mother cell or a stem cell or the zygote of each and every layer is responsible for forming the various organs. The mother cells are constituted by the blastomeres. What is the ingredient of the mother cell? Blastomere. Who formed this blastomere cleavage? Where it happens in the zygote. So where it happens, okay. Where it happens in the zygote. This zygote cleavage happens in uterus, exactly in which particular area? In the endometrium. What do you mean about endometrium? Inner layer of the uterus is called endometrium. So many number of messages we need to bring when you are seeing the blastomeres, right? Okay. So if the blastomeres are 8 or more in number, we are calling that as morula. Then if it is less than 8, what you will call? If it is more than 16, what you will call? Like this, any type of specification is there? Yes, of course. But in the CBSE textbook, they are not explained in detail. Okay, so blastula, the structure, if the cells are less than 8, if the cells are more than 16, then it is called gastula. So gastula and blastula, the word is not there in the CBSE textbook. That is the reason why we are hiding those set of information, right? Gastula. If the zygote is having blastomere, more than 16, gastula. If it is less than 6, blastula. So some students, because of the hurry in the exam time, okay, instead of writing blast, sometimes used to write bastula. No, blastula, not bastula, right? So this blastula and gastrula having how many number of blastomeres we already narrated for you. So can you see this excellent embryo implantation we narrated for you for better understanding, right? So calmly you listen to this please, so that what you'll understand the structure which is looking exactly like a funnel shape structure. You can see this the funnel shape structure where it is present exactly next to the ovary. So this is nothing but infundibulum. This is nothing but infundibulum, right? And this is nothing but ampullae isthmus junction. From here, the zygote is moving to the uterus for getting implanted over the endometrium, which is the innermost layer of the uterus. What do you mean about cervix? Cervix is also called as birth canal, right? Cervix is also there in the case of neck. That is the reason why many number of time I used to say cervix is also representing neck. Don't think about the neck, right? The cervix denotes the birth canal or cervical canal. Depending upon the context, the cervix meaning changes, right? So here, this is the female reproductive structure. In this, the fallopian tube is keeping the egg for a while, in the sense, for example, the ovary release the egg. The egg is getting stagnated in a fallopian tube for 1 to 2 days at the maximum, not more than that. In that time period, if the sperm is getting movement into the fallopian tube, and then if the sperm and the egg are interacting, immediately zygote will be not formed. It takes some time. Okay, it takes some time means in the sense what? The fused egg will become the fused egg, or the secondary oocyte after getting interaction, it is going to complete the meiosis 2. Meiosis 2. What do you mean about meiosis 2? In the meiosis 2 only, what is exactly happening here is, in meiosis 2, the egg is getting proper maturation. Okay, who is that? Secondary oocyte is becoming what? Okay, matured egg. What is that matured egg called? Ovum. Okay, who is forming this ovum? Secondary oocyte. What is that process called? Meiosis 2. Meiosis 2 means second meiosis or the part of meiosis. It is a part of meiosis. Part of meiosis means what? Second half or first half? Second half of the meiosis. Second half of the meiosis is nothing but meiosis 2, which makes the ovum, which is a singular denoting the single egg, but not the ova, which is more frequently where we are using in the case of aquatic mammals. I am an aquatic mammal. When I am releasing the egg, I will release the egg any number. I am a terrestrial mammal. In most of the terrestrial mammal, one egg will be released in most of the condition, but not in all condition, right? So in human, always one egg will come to the fallopian tube, but not many egg in 97% of the cases. But in few cases, 2-3 eggs will come to the fallopian tube, right? So be very careful. They will ask the hidden sentence of each and every sentence. At the time, we should be in a position to narrate much more explanation. Okay. Now, the blastomeres in a blastocyst. Blastomere in a blastocyst, before explaining this process, if I'm giving the clear-cut picture for you, so that what you'll understand exactly. Can you see this picture? In this picture, the oocyte is nothing but the egg. What egg exactly? Secondary oocyte. So secondary oocyte is becoming the fertilized egg. Fertilized egg means what? Developed egg. Developed egg is also called as ovum, which furthermore develops into zygote, and then the zygote start forming the many number of blastomeres. So in the first day, the second day, in the fifth day, in the sixth day, these many number of blastomeres are formed. That we already told to you a number of times, right? So these blastomeres, which is formed in the zygote, n in number, which is encapsulated by a blastocyst structure, which is the outer core of the divided zygote. This blastocyst structure denotes indirectly a thick layer which is formed around the group of blastomeres, right? The thick layer which is formed around the zygote having a n number of blastomeres, that n number of blastomeres having a thick layer, n number of blastomeres having a thick layer, not thin layer. That thick layer of the group of blastomeres constitutes trophoblast, right? Okay. Here I already told you the blastocyst, okay, are organized into the trophoblast. Okay, trophoblast. So either you call this trophoblast made up of blastomeres, or else you can say the blastomeres which is having a thick plasma membrane, which is indicating the blastocyst. This blastocyst is giving a thick coat over a zygote, right? So the blastomeres are organized into three important layers, which is nothing but the ectoderm, outermost layer, and the middle mesoderm, and the innermost layer called endoderm, which is not mentioned here. But we need to know what is endoderm, which is made up of blastomeres, which is getting slowly differentiated into n number of mother cells. So again, back I'm repeating, once the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm are developed by the zygote, the cells of these three layers are getting differentiated into well-matured blastomeres. In the sense, mother cells are arised in these three layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, and these mother cells are in a position to make various organs in the developing embryo, right? So here we know very well the blastocyst in the uterus rapidly divides and is covered by uterine cells. These uterine cells, in the sense, we used to call these uterine cells are not existing in the uterus every time. Once the zygote is getting implanted over the innermost layer of the uterus or endometrium, then the uterine cells are formed. Not it is okay, the uterine cells are not existing every time in the female body, right? That is the message we need to understand, right? So I think so you all understood this message. Okay, after some time we'll go for a lot of questionnaires, so that what we'll have a lot of extra tough segment. Before that, we'll discuss the worked examples. Okay, worked examples are having a collections of repeatedly asked tough questions on the board, which are more tricky to solve. The process of implantation in human reproduction, when they are saying like that, in all the classes we are saying don't write multiple paragraphs. Instead of writing multiple paragraphs, make a lot of subheadings. If you're making a lot of subheadings, blastocyst formation, trophoblast role, pregnancy initiation. Like this, when you are making a lot of subheadings, and if you are writing in a very crispy way, in a shortcut message, in the sense, a lot of informations are kept as a sandwich in a single sentence, instead of writing so many sentences with a very good clarity sentence that speaks multiple information, then the concerned evaluator will feel comfortable in giving much more marks, right? Now, if you're talking about the blastocyst reaches the uterus that we already narrated for you, attached to the uterine wall. These are all the points we discussed in the class that we are systemizing. In the sense, we are segregating into a lot of subheadings under the answer script. And in this answer, when we are narrating, we are giving subheadings, and also the important word should be underlined with a pencil. So for getting the maximum score. What is the role of trophoblast? Okay, implantation role. So because the implantation, what happens is zygote get proper hold over the uterus. When it is keeping on increasing the mass, it is not getting detached from the uterus. It is not getting detached from the uterus. This is a message we need to understand, right? So now the pregnancy initiation, how it is happening? The successful implantation, okay, is starting with the nourishment. The blastocyst, which is a structure or zygote, okay, getting the nourishment, okay, from the mother body. So here the blastocyst is getting nourishment through what? Okay, you are saying blastocyst is getting nourishment. Still more, we can add two more points in this same answers, is getting nourishment through placenta. So P, the word always you keep in this answer, the P denotes placenta. When I was like you, okay, always I used to keep the words like this, so that what I can incorporate those missing words in a sentence to bring the full-fledged sentence, right? So already they narrated placenta here. This placenta is giving the nutrients. If you already told, not necessary to repeat again back. But this placenta is not only giving the nutrient exchange, it is also giving the gas exchange, which is not here. For example, in the same question, if they're asking the 5 mark, I'll add gases exchange also. I'll add nutrition exchange, or nutrition exchange is already there in the answer. So gases exchange you add. This is possible because of the placental layer. Okay, the gases exchange in the sense what? Oxygen exchange, carbon dioxide exchange. So always nearby to the answer, I always used to put the box when I was like you, and then I'll bring this message when this question they are asking in the 5 mark question. In addition to all these things, the placenta also supports the excretion of the fetus. So the fetus is excreting, in the sense the waste material of the fetus are taken away from the body with the help of the placental tissues. So E, GE and P, these three boxes will help me to develop multiple sentence if they are asking the essay type question, which is a 5 mark question, right? So we should be very careful how to elaborate. Okay, now we are coming for the next question. Why is the precious timing for fertilization crucial in human reproduction? We know very well the viability of the egg. What do you mean about viability of the egg? As I already told you, okay, here after 1 day of after the 1 day of ovulation. What do you mean about ovulation? If the egg is getting released by the female body, okay, from that day, at the maximum, it can remain active or alive only for 1.5 day to 2 days, not more than that. Okay, after 2 days, okay, here in the CBSE textbook, they're given only 1 day. Okay, please don't go for 2 days explanation. But technically, we are talking in the medicine, we used to write up to 48 hours, but 24 hours is enough. Whatever they mentioned in the CBSE textbook that we need to maintain. Why? Because they told the mean or average value. Okay, actually, in the medical field, we used to say 12 to 48 hours. They took the average out of it and they given 24 hours. Okay, accept it. Whatever they mentioned in the CBSE board, that we need to follow, right? Now, preventing polyspermy. Who is doing this work? The polyspermy is because of the well-thickened zona pellucida, which is nothing but corona radiata that we told in the last class. That is not allowing the furthermore many more sperm to get entry into the egg, right? So you know very well location in the fallopian tube. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube where the sperm and the egg meets. So the sperm and the egg meets in the fallopian tube. Where exactly? Amply isomers junction. Being a paper evaluator, I always try to fetch this concerned child or concerned student written the all the terms are not properly, right? So ampuloisomus junction, a specific site of the fallopian tube, is a platform for the fertilization to happen. A platform for the egg and a platform for the egg and sperm to get fused, right? So we need to narrate ampuloisomus junction is missing in this area. There is a keyword. So always after writing the answer, we need to understand whether we touched all the keywords or not. And second thing is important word we need to underline in the pencil. Okay, for better exposure, for better projection of your answer in the board paper, right? We know very well the egg is viable only for 1 day that we already narrated, right? So within that viability period, if the sperm is reaching the fallopian tube, zygote formation happens successfully, right? So this is the crux of this particular answer. So we need to explain this way. I think so you all understood this message. Now we are coming for the next important segment is tips for the exam. Where I need to concentrate, how I need to concentrate when I am planning for this particular subtopic preparation. Can you suggest some few words? Yes, of course. So here, the timing or the fertilization, and then implantation, duration, everything. If you are understanding where it happens, how it happens, when it happens, okay, that time period we need to keep in our mind as a shorthand notes in our mind. Either you put box next to the sentence, or either you balloon it, means in the sense bubble it. Okay, bubble it means the sense. So you just to mention, okay, the time duration I need to concentrate. Okay, underline some pencil so that what you will be very careful with that. Implication of the timing, successful fertilization. Successful fertilization means the copulation happened in the ovulation period properly. Copulation happened in the ovulation period. That is the reason why successful fertilization. What is the reason for successful fertilization? Copulation happened in the ovulation period. There is a reason why we are experiencing successful fertilization. Like this, we need to narrate, right? Now, sequence of fertilization and implantation in the context of human reproduction. So we know very well healthy embryo formation, pregnancy initiation, and development of placenta. So all these things will not happen. All these things will not happen if the sperm is not reaching the egg. The sperm is not reaching the egg. All these things will not happen. Healthy embryo will be not formed. Pregnancy initiation will be not operated, and placenta will not develop. Okay, who is placenta? Who made placenta? Who is the mother cell of placenta? Okay, whenever you are seeing placenta, you need to bring all the points. Who made placenta? Endometrium made placenta. Okay, if the endometrium is not making the placenta, what is the fate of endometrium? Degenerate. Why the endometrium need to get degenerated? Because the sperm and egg are not interacted. Though the sperm and egg not interacted, the placenta is going for degeneration, right? So we should be very, very careful in understanding all this information in detail, right? So now, any one of you are having any doubt in the case of tips for exam and examples, please let me know. We given the related video for you. You can watch, okay? And some more questions we'll discuss of the previous year board paper, so that what you will understand exactly where you are exactly lagging, where you are exactly good enough to say the message, right? So can you see this? In human reproduction, what is the role of the acrosome in sperm? See, most of the options are correct, but which is having higher probability? Okay, here enzymes to penetrate the egg outer cover. Enzymes to penetrate the outer cover. Many number of times we already narrated for you the acrosome filament is very, very important to make the enzyme. In the class, when we narrated this information before 30 minutes back, we told to you acrosome is making the enzyme, but the enzyme name they will ask in the upcoming board exam. Okay, why? Because this question they already asked. So then what question they will ask? Sometimes the question will repeat. Okay, but in most of the cases, questions will be not repeated, but they will rephrase it. Okay, they will preface. Okay, they will paraphrase it, and then they will add some few more points, and then they will ask one more question. So the sperm lysin is the enzyme name that we already written in the last class, right? So now the correct option is B. Now we'll be going to question number 2. Be very careful. Which structure of the female reproductive system facilitates the meeting of the sperm and the egg during fertilization? The answer is fallopian tube. The answer is fallopian tube, fallopian tube. So can we say the other term for the fallopian tube? So instead of asking fallopian tube, what they will ask? Instead of saying fertilization, what they will ask? So we are not here for reading the question and saying the answer from the slide. What are the other probabilities? Instead of saying fertilization, they will say syngamy. Instead of saying fallopian tube, what they will say, which is not there in the slide, can you explain to me? Okay, oviduct. What do you mean about oviduct? The other name of fallopian tube. But technically, in the medicine, once you are entering into medicine, we used to call as the distal end of the fallopian tube is called oviduct. So there are many terms we'll be discussing the medicine, but now currently in the CBSE, oviduct is enough for the other name for fallopian tube. So then what else they will ask? Instead of fertilization, they will say syngamy. Okay, and then what else they will say? Instead of egg, they will say haploid female cell. Instead of saying sperm, what they will say? Haploid male cell. Haploid male cell, sperm. Haploid female cell, egg. Instead of saying fallopian tube, they will say oviduct. Okay, instead of saying cervix, they will say bacchanal. So they will use multiple terms to confuse you. Be very careful with the terminology and then correlate the message for better explanation, right? Now we are entering into the next important question solving session. Here, what is a term for the developing embryo after implantation, but before it becomes a fetus? Okay, morula is the correct answer. Morula is the correct answer, right? So here, when we narrated for you, we told to you the morula is a stage where it indicates if the blastomeres are 8 and above. 8 and above. 8 and above. So if the zygote is having blastomere more than 8, then we are calling as morula. Before morula stage, blastula. After morula, gastrula. Like this we narrated when we explained all the points in the previous session, right? In today's session, before 20 minutes back, we told about the morula is having 8 blastomeres in number, right? So be very careful with all those things. Now, if you're talking about the zygote is implanted like this, you are saying, okay, can I say in other word, technically, yes, of course, gestation. What do you mean about gestation? The zygote implantation is successful. Where? In uterus. Why? To become embryo. In uterus where? In uterine layer. What is the other name of uterine layer? Endometrium. Okay. So we need to bring the multiple questions and multiple information what we studied behind the implantation concept. Then we can face the board exam properly, right? So now, if you're coming for the question number 4, during implantation, the blastocyst attaches to the which part of the female reproductive system? If you're talking about, of course, uterine wall, also called as endometrium, we already narrated for you, right? Instead of saying vagina, what word they will say? Female external genitalia. Okay, instead of saying vagina, what they will say? Female external genitalia. So instead of saying the uterine wall, what they will say? Endometrium. But of course, technically I'm saying uterine wall is not only having endometrium, it is also having myometrium, it is also having mesometrium. But here in this context, they are specifying that which particular uterine wall is nothing but endometrium wall, right? So the vagina is also called as external genitalia. Vagina is also called as external genitalia.